connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. Every once in a while, somebody will come up with a fun topic, and you're supposed to say something in your life that was embarrassing that you've done, and usually maybe, you had something risque happen, or you were caught doing something a little bit naughty or whatever. One of my most embarrassing things that I will ever tell you that is absolutely honest is that I lost a house to foreclosure years ago. Absolutely embarrassing, and it's even difficult for me to tell you that on the air. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you and your husband did too. It was one of those things that happened to both of us, and not because we knew each other in any way. It just was one of those things. There are so many reasons why foreclosures happen, and there are so many reasons why they might not necessarily have to happen, and that's what we want to focus on right now. On the phone is Ricky Brava. He is a senior partner at Apollo Financial Group. He specializes in education, marketing, and new business development with an expertise in data-driven, long-term strategic planning. So we're going to talk about what he does, and specifically about avoiding foreclosures, which I would have done anything. If somebody had said to me, come here, talk to me, I felt like there was nobody to turn to.
I tried to.
And just for the record, in case you want to know, this was a good 30-something years ago. So
yeah,
it's really water under the bridge, but nevertheless, still an embarrassing thing. Ricky Brava. Ricky, good morning, Ricky.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Robin.
How are you?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Pretty good. Where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
New York City.
Oh, all right. Have you ever had a house foreclosed on?
Fortunately, no.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
We're not. I know my partner has, when we were doing other type of real estate investments, where we did rentals, fix and flips, and things of that nature. And then obviously the housing crash came, and we lost. As a partner, we did lose investment properties to the bank.
Yeah. I mean, Rob and I have two totally different stories, but if I could just share just a tad of Robin's, it was IRS related. How scary is that?
Yeah, very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it didn't cross the line.
The IRS, right?
All right. So let me ask you this. In both our cases, that was 30 or more years ago. So have things changed since back then? So that somebody facing foreclosure has maybe a better chance at getting out of that mess?
Yes. Things have changed in the manner of that after 2008, the banks did unload a lot of quote-unquote bad loans to investors like ourselves. We pick up bad loans, non-performing mortgages from the bank at a discount. And what that has created, it's a great opportunity for an investor to help the public, to help the American stay in his home. Because if you come in and pick up that loan, that non-performing note at a discount, and the homeowner has had a problem or an issue paying that mortgage, you are better equipped than the bank originally was to give that person better terms and make it amicable for them to stay in their property.
Really? So is this something somebody has to sign up for, like as soon as they get their mortgage, like this is another thing, and are they paying for it monthly? How does this work?
Well, okay. If for whatever reason, I mean, there's so many different stories throughout the nation. We're a nationwide company. If you did default on your mortgage, you would be getting your statements, and at some point, foreclosure proceeding may start. What I advise, because I'm always on the other side of the fence, and as far as we do start foreclosures, but that's just to get the homeowner to negotiate with us and start to work something out. Always make sure that you reply to those letters. A lot of people put their head in the sand and just let the whole process continue because they're afraid to speak out or afraid to communicate with the lender. And that's a big mistake.
Yeah, really.
A lot of the times you have to see, who is my new lender? Because a lot of these loans have been sold to other investors. It could have gone through 4 different companies before they start to foreclose on your property. So then you have a lot of things to ask. You say, hey, who are you? Which is this company? And do you have a proper chain of title assignment that you own this actual mortgage to start to foreclose on me? So there's a lot of things that you can work, and you have to ask the lender that is starting foreclosure questions.
Now, do you also handle the other side of it? Do you handle the people who want to buy the distressed homes or the foreclosed on homes?
The REO investors, yeah. If we unfortunately do not hear from a homeowner or come to an agreement and we take over the property, then we have what's called the REO investors that buy those properties at a discount.
And what does REO stand for?
A real estate owned. Basically, that means that the bank took over and the bank owns it.
Okay, all right. And the how long have you been doing this?
7 years now. 6 as a company, 7 as an investor.
And you're in New York. I'm originally from that area, and I know that a lot of the folks, I mean, a lot of them are secure because they've got good jobs, and a lot are not. It's a mixed bag. Well, I guess it's that way everywhere. But but is that particular market having some issues that maybe the rest of the country isn't?
In New York City, as an investor, if we're going to use this vehicle as an investment vehicle, we stay away from a city like New York City because it's not quote unquote lender friendly. Meaning, if I was to start a foreclosure process, it could take me up to 3 years to take over that property.
All right.
So it's friendly to the borrower. So you could technically live for free in New York City for up to 3 years before you get.
That is just not right. Somebody in charge up there made a mistake.
Are some of the bank loans, are they sold to other mortgage companies without the owner of the house that has the loan, without the awareness?
That may happen, but it shouldn't. Because legally, if I sell my mortgage to another investor, I have to send them what's called a goodbye letter, and also the new investor has to send them a hello letter. So they have to be notified.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they understand that there's been a transfer of ownership.
Does a person who is facing foreclosure because they really are the ones responsible? It wasn't. I mean, you could look at it and say some people may have had health issues or whatever, but let's say just the person who just simply wasn't doing what he or she should be doing.
Yeah.
Does that person get looked at differently than the other In other words, if somebody's really at fault, you look at them differently than somebody who may have had circumstances out of their control?
Yes and no. I mean, here at Apollo Financial Group, we do think we are, quote-unquote, borrower-friendly, homeowner-friendly. Whatever the case may be, I mean, anyone over the phone or through a letter could tell you anything, or through an attorney could tell you, hey, I got sick, my mom had cancer, or I cannot really tell as an investor nationwide if that's actually the truth, or you're just a guy who's a deadbeat, right?
Yeah.
But if you're willing to speak, and let's say, hey, what can you do? What is bothering you today? Is it the monthly payments are too high? Is the interest rate too high? Is the arrears, you feel like they're too big for you to, overcome? What is your issue? And we can work on any of those issues.
Okay. And I don't know if people are still doing this, but a few years ago, I guess during the housing crisis, we were hearing about people who were basically saying, all right, I'm locking the door and leaving because I can't keep doing this. And all of a sudden there's abandoned homes here and there. Have you had to deal with them, or what did you do?
Yeah, I believe the term is a zombie foreclosure. When we would start the foreclosure process and the homeowner moves out
after
the foreclosure has been started. But for whatever reason, a lot of these larger institutions cancel the foreclosure because they don't want to take over the property. So then they're vacant homes, and that's not good for America as a whole because it brings all the other property values down. Yes.
We're up against the clock, and I wanted to make sure the listeners, because obviously in the radio interview we only scratched the surface. Can you give the listeners a website or other information so they can look into what you're offering, what you're talking about?
Definitely. They could always visit ApolloFinancialGRP.com. That's ApolloFinancialGRP.com, and our number is 866-825-9350.
All right. Yeah, it's a sting that doesn't go away. I had a trouble just telling people on the air. I want them to think that I'm living in a mansion, and I've never had anything but that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you for being on the air with us. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
The weather is
Thank you,
brought to you
guys.
by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today. A couple of thunderstorms around into the afternoon hours, high 89 to 93. A leftover thunderstorm early tonight, then partly cloudy later tonight, though 72 to 76. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun.